Welcome, everyone. My name is Irving Batesh. I am the CEO and one of the co-founders at Sion. Today's session is a Sion 101. Well, again, thank you everyone for being here. Like I said, today's session is a Sion 101. So just a little background on the 101 webinars. They are geared more towards beginners. So these are basics. I will not be going too much in depth. We will get to questions afterwards, but the way we like to generally do this is we go over a combination of just the real most basic things or things you should know in Sion. Um, and I plan for that to be hopefully around 20-25 minutes. And then we'll leave the balance of the next 20 minutes to your questions. One important note, it's hard for our team to track in two places. So for any questions that you have, please put them in the Q&A box and not in the general chat. And the team will either try to respond directly or, if applicable, to show to everyone, will voice that question to me so that I could go over it with you. Um, this session will be recorded and we will put it in on our help center on our site. So you'll have access to watch it from there. And that's really it. Look forward, to showing you the product. And like I said, we'll get to your questions soon. So I will share my screen now. All right, so I'm gonna delve into, a few subtopics, but the main ones that every agent needs to know at a minimum. Because with most systems, there are things you need to do, and there are things that's great to know. I'm going to try to do a little bit of both, but the things I want to make sure people come away from today knowing is how to add a booking in Sion, um, where to look for their statements, and unreconciled. So those are unreconciled or unclaimed, if that's what you call it. But that's going to be my main focus today. Um, so I'm going to start off on the bookings page. And I think the most important thing that people need to know is how to add a booking. There's a few ways bookings come into Sion. One of them, is importing, which a host agency would likely do. Another one is through a GDS connection, which requires no effort on your part if you are set up with the GDS. But the one we're going to cover today is the one that is used very often, which is a manual entry, a booking not made through the GDS, etc. So you're simply going to click this Add Booking button on the top right of your screen. And the only real required fields are the left-hand side of this. And this is by default going to be a commissionable booking. I will show you that there are some other types. I might not go over them today, but I want to show you how to add a booking in here. So I will start by first, obviously, putting in the client name. You'll see that if the client is already there, it'll auto-populate. You could press enter or select it with your mouse. I'm going to combine your names, Delphi and Kevin. And if you're going to create a new client, you just click Add Delphina Bigelow here. It's now going to create that client once you save the booking. And then you go on to the supplier. So keep in mind, depending on how you sell travel, what you want to put in the supplier field is who owes the commission. So if you're not sure if it should be the vendor or a DMC, et cetera, it's who is paying you the commission, because the accounting team needs to know who to expect that money from. So let me pick a Montage Laguna Beach. That's in Gail's neck of the woods. So when you're selecting a supplier, Sion's automatically going to show you different suggestions. You always want to prioritize, always, to try to pick the one with this purple verified badge. Sion has over 240,000 verified suppliers. We're continually updating them and adding to them. But when you see the option of a verified supplier, even if you don't see one come up, especially if it's a hotel, because our hotel coverage is really good, maybe check if you spelled it correctly or a different version of the spelling, because it is always best to use the verified supplier option just for consistency in data. And keep in mind, if I did a hotel in, let's say in London, Sion will also update the currency automatically to pounds here, right? So keep in mind that one difference in Sion is that we encourage you to invoice or add a booking in the currency that it's booked in, because that is the currency in which the money's owed to you in. So this does the best job of tracking that. So we'll leave you at the Beaumont here. And let's say this is where I picked the date. So it's 2 clicks. So I'm making this booking for June 17th to the 19th. Sion is then automatically going to assign it a due date. This due date affects what status it's in, which I'll get to later. But to make a long story short, if it's after the due date without a payment being received, it will make this booking past due. So perhaps if you know with different vendors when you should be expecting the commission from them. So the default is going to be 60 days after the end date. And we have shortcuts here for 45 days, 30 on checkout, or you can just manually select a date from the calendar. So I could just choose, June 28th here. Then you're putting in the financial information. So the daily rate is really there to help you do math. So let's say this room was 1,200 pounds a night. Sion knows how many nights it is, and it could calculate it with a default commission rate of 10%. You could also ignore the daily rate and just put in the total amount. Maybe there's fluctuating room nights and you need to do that math. But if you know the total amount, you could also put that in here. And all of these fields work together. So if this was a 12% commission, you can update that. You could even put in a commission amount here and it'll figure out the percentage. So all of these will work together here. Keep in mind, this isn't really 101 type stuff, but you could also set default commission rates on supplier profiles. So if you know that, you always get 15% at the Beaumont, if you add that to their profile, the second that supplier is selected here, you wouldn't need to manually change it to 15 because Sion will set that as the default. You then here can select your category. The default is hotel. You can add a confirmation number. So even though it's not required, most agencies do require it. It's really helpful for reconciliation and just for reporting in general. And you also have the option to add tags. So if you ever wanted to search by a collection of bookings that our traditional filters don't support, you could come in here and add a tag. Let's say this is for a honeymoon. I already have a honeymoon tag, so I can just select that one. But I can just create my own tag here. Make sure to press enter so you see the box around it to know the tag saved, and then you save your booking. So that took a few minutes for me to get through the booking modal. Laura and Gail, were there any specific questions on things I missed on the booking modal that anyone's curious about?
Nothing so far.
All right. Okay, cool. So I know that took a few minutes, but generally, that takes anywhere from 15 to 30 seconds to do that action. I also want to show that when you do add a booking, like I mentioned, it is a commissionable booking. If you needed to record a sale that you had that is not commissionable, so you would just click on the commission tab and you can change it to client net if it was something that you were paying for and marking up where the client was paying you directly, or a fee that they're just paying you a fee. And you'll notice when you go back to basic, it changes the fields here that it's asking for. So the client's name, the amount, the dates, and you could put a description of what the fee is for here, which would show up on the invoice. So next, we just created this booking. So you'll see here that once you see it as a line item in the system, Sion is tracking it. So, and we also not only create this internal invoice, but it actually creates a real invoice that you could use. So it has the basic information in that row that you were seeing, but when you click on it, we have here what we call the booking drawer, and you can see a lot more information and interact with it here. So one thing I wanted to show you quickly is if, let's say, you made a mistake or something changed after and you need to edit it, you could click on actions and edit, and you can go, let's say, you put the wrong digit there, the commission percentage was wrong, the dates were extended by a night, and you wanted to change the due date for whatever reason. You save that. It updates the booking here with all the new information. And one cool thing you'll see is we have an activity tab that has a paper trail of everything that happens on a booking. So if something doesn't look like right, the activity tab could always help you see sort of a history of that booking. So not only does it show you which user updated something and when, it shows you everything that was updated, what it used to be, and what it was changed to. So it's really nice to have that visibility continually. Other things that are in the booking drawer is you can duplicate a booking. If let's say I needed to make another booking for another room or something so similar and just change one field, I can do that. You can download, you could cancel a booking if it was canceled and you keep a record of it, but just in a canceled status, or completely delete it from the system. On these tabs here, we start with the payments tab. Sion's main focus is always making sure you know what you've earned and making sure you get paid. So the payments tab will always list any payments if they've been received and reconciled to this booking. You'll be able to see how much you're owed, both in the actual currency it was booked in and an estimate in your default currency. It shows you the due date and a percentage of what's been collected as well. The details tab really just shows you a bunch of details about both the client, the supplier, the booking itself, the agent information. And invoices, I'm going to come back here later to show you how to chase a commission through Sion. But what's cool is you have a invoice available at all times here for every booking that's in the system. Should you ever need to send out an invoice to collect payment or to chase a payment, it'll have all your payable information. It wouldn't have, this is just a demo account. It would have, your agency's logo, their check information, wire, etc. So that's great to have handy. We also have a note section. So for each booking in Sion, you will be able to see, edit your tags for this booking. You can add any notes that you'd like to have, and also add attachments. So I could drag in any file here. And download it from here, click it to view it, edit the name. So I know this is the, hotel confirmation. Save those changes. And I could have an itinerary in here and really be organized all in your booking drawer. So from here, I want to give you sort of a lay of the land of the bookings page. This is where agents, and again, I might not have mentioned this in the beginning, but not only is it geared towards beginners, but the Sion 101 sessions are definitely geared more towards agents and ICs. The bookings page is where you're going to be spending most of your time in our system. So just to look around, Sion is always, you're basically always looking at a live report on Sion, and you're able to control what you're looking at with these filters. It updates pretty quickly here, based on what you have selected. I actually, just for something I want to do afterwards, give me 1 second. I want to apply this to an IC. Second. Okay. So back to the filter bar, basically what you click here is what you see. On the top, you always have our totals bar here, where by default is going to show you, again, based on the filters you have selected, your total sales. It also has a breakdown about what status those are in, which I'll get to in a moment. You could also change your view here by clicking on the reporting button on top. You can change from seeing your revenue, your gross commission, and then you can choose between gross and net. So if you're an IC and you say, okay, my bookings earned 169,000, but how much of that am I keeping? You could click net, and because Sion knows your split with your agency, I actually just did that from a host agency account, so it's showing them their net of that. But it's great to be able to play around with these filters over here. Getting back to the filter bar, this search could be your best friend. You can search by anything, by clients, suppliers, tags, trips, a whole lot more than that. If I wanted to, even though Delfina and the Beaumont Hotel both have their own profiles, I can come in here and search by Delfina here, and see all of Delfina's bookings. I can do the same thing for the Beaumont. and be able to see, I guess I clicked on the wrong one there, but you get the point. To be able to click on the hotel and filter by that, you could use multiple filters at the same time. I think one of the things I want to highlight on the search that is such a cheat code for people is the string search. So obviously, if I search for a certain Four Seasons hotel, it'll show me different particular hotels, and I have to click on that profile, and it'll only show me results for that profile. But if I don't click on any of these suggestions that have an icon to the left, I can just search by the string Four Seasons, and it'll show me anything that has Four Seasons in it. Same thing where this is really helpful is confirmation numbers. So you'll see this one I created here. I just do 2023. I don't even need to technically write out the whole one, and it's going to show me anything that has that string. So I could do that same thing for Delfina. I could type that, just search for the word Delfina instead of clicking on one of the profiles, and it could show me anything that has that word in it. So that's a really fun tool to take advantage of. Next are the dates. So this seems pretty straightforward, but I really want to show you and highlight date fields. So you'll see here, you can change from year to a quarter, month, a date range, etc. But what's really interesting here is the date field. So in any of these sections, if you see this little gear icon, you could click on it and it allows you to filter more granularly. So right now I'm looking at all of the bookings that have a start date in 2025. But I can change this to check out in 2025 or sold in 2025. And you'll see how these numbers are completely different. And there are different ways that you can analyze your data to say, hey, how much business, June's coming up. How much do I have traveling in June versus, at the end of the month saying, how much did I sell in the month of June or in the month of May, even if it's for Thanksgiving or 2026. Another fun thing to do is forecasting. So even though they might not be accurate to the day, we have a payment due date, which is when we expect to get paid on every booking. So I can see, show me all the payment due I have in June. So I can get an idea of how much commission I should be expecting to receive that next month. So you're not always flying in the dark and just, having no idea when your money's coming in. So Sion will help you with that type of reporting. You could also set any of these as a default. I think most people enjoy the created date so that it always pops up when they add a booking. So if you just click on any of these and click on set as default, that'll save for you as what you see every time you log in. Next, you have statuses. So this section, again, allows you to filter by status. And again, by status, I mean the status of your commission. So upcoming is for a booking that hasn't happened yet. Owed means that it's owed to you, but you don't need to take action. It's in a time frame that you should be expecting it. Past due means we're sort of telling you should probably follow up because you should have received that commission by now. Paid is paid, canceled is canceled. Another fun one to see here is you notice that each of these circles, some of them aren't as complete as others. So that's showing you what percentage has been paid versus what you were expecting. So if I click this little gear icon here, obviously I could only look at my fully paid bookings, my partially paid bookings, or I could do custom range. So if I said, hey, I know I got a lot of things that are paid, but I want to see, has anything been paid 70% or less from what I was expecting? So that I could follow up and see why. Sion really allows you to dig into your data and prioritize which commissions that you should be chasing. Agency identifier and agencies, I don't think we need to go over. Those are more host agency features, or if you have more, a lot of IATAs. If you do have a team, I'm sure you're aware that you could have multiple agents or multiple people in the same account. So this allows you to be able to filter by individual or any combination of agents and see which bookings they made. And we have some other filters here. Those are the most important ones, but you could filter by invoice type, by commissionable versus fees, etc. Categories is also an important one. If you're on top of making sure you set the right categories, you could do some great category reporting there as well. I'm gonna head over now to unreconciled. Is there anything you think I should cover that's come in yet? No? Okay. I will keep going. So I'm going to jump over to this account here, which is an IC account. So basically what I was going over so far has been the bookings page. And the bookings page is everything booking related, looking at things on the booking level. The commissions page is a little more geared towards accounting, but just as useful for agents. And it allows you to be able to see at an overview, again, always based on the filters you have selected, your total accounts receivable here. You're able to see all the payments. So just like the bookings page is a list of bookings, this page is a list of payments, and you're able to see all of the payments that have been reconciled to your bookings here. It even shows you what your profit is. If because we know what your host would be keeping or what you might be redistributing to some of your sub agents. But as we know, host agencies receive commissions that they're unable to reconcile. So you would come to the commissions page and go to the unreconciled tab. And this is where you will see a list of all the commissions that were received, but not yet reconciled. So you could browse, and Sion allows you to browse this and be able to claim them for yourselves. So one of the things I wanted to point out here is you could even search the unreconciled. So if there's, let's say, hundreds here, we allow you to change how many you can see on a page, but we also allow you to search within here. So keep in mind though here that the only search that works in this section is that free text search. So if I start typing Park Hyatt Paris, and I click this booking will not come up. Well, I guess I just ignored it and it's showing you everything. But if I type Park Hyatt, and I just search for Park Hyatt, this payment will come up. Now, let's say this payment, I recognize it and I think it's for one of my bookings. All I need to do is click it and then click this match with booking here. So you'll see here on the top is the payment. Sion's algorithm is looking at your bookings to try to help you find it. So we could just find it for you. And this right here is a suggestion from Sion. But if you don't see a suggestion from us, you could always search your bookings. So you can search by a client name, by a confirmation number, by any part of that booking. And once you find the booking that you want to claim it against, you click on it and click match. Before I do that, I just want to make clear you cannot claim commissions in Sion that you do not have a booking created for. So if you did notice a commission that's yours, and then you realize that you never created a booking for it, you will need to go back to the bookings page, create the booking, and then come back here to match it. And then once you match it, you just click submit. And now your agency will get a notification that this was matched, and they just need to do one level of approval, which I could show you here going back to the host agency account that I was in. And they're able to see that someone matched it. And the second they hit reconcile, that now gets reconciled with that booking. And that sort of leads me to the next place I wanted to get to, which was statements. So we covered the bookings page, at least a lot of it. We covered some of the commissions page. The statements page is where you go to manage all the money you're owed as an agent, or if you owe out, if you have sub agents. So this handles the redistribution of commissions. So you'll see anytime a payment from your host agency is reconciled against one of your bookings, it automatically goes on your next statement based on the frequency rules that are set up for your relationship with your host. And you'll notice here that that booking, that payment that we just approved, I guess that's not the same one. Sorry, I might be looking at the wrong statement. Where did it go? There it is. I must have clicked on the wrong one. Oh no, maybe it was here the whole time. It was this one. But you'll see that this payment automatically is on here. So for statements, you could always come to this page and you don't need to wait if you get paid every 2 weeks or once a month until the end of that period. And it's like, you know, you have no idea what you're expecting. You see to the second, you're live with your accounting team to see how much you're owed or should be expecting at that point in time when you check your statement. Because the second a payment is reconciled to your booking, it will show up on your statement. You could click onto the payment to see any more details here. But again, this is all listed out for you and organized. And then after you receive that payment, you could come in here and click received so you know that that statement is done with and you're focusing on the next one. The last thing I want to show you, and then I'll get to your questions if there are any, is commission chasing. You should know, even though I'm not going to be spending time on it today, there is a whole clients and suppliers page where you could come to and click on those clients and suppliers, merge them if there's duplicates, delete them, go to their profiles, add CRM data in there, frequent flyer numbers, birthdays, addresses, contact information, and also be able to see reporting on that level. So if I wanted to go here to Delphina, who we just made a booking for, there is a client drawer, but I could also go to Delphina's full profile. Obviously, I just created her from scratch. So none of this information is here, but you have the same reporting as you saw on the bookings page where you're able to have all your reporting. Imagine how valuable this is for clients, for suppliers, for chains and brands. That's another thing Sion has, is that your suppliers are already connected in Sion by chain and brand. So all you need to go to is a chain or a brand profile, and you'll be able to see all your Four Seasons reporting, or all your Belmont or Dorchester or Rocco Forte bookings, etc. So coming back to the bookings page, the last thing I want to show you is commission chasing. So the indicator to that, as we mentioned before, is a past due status. Obviously, we don't stop you from chasing any commission, but a real indicator is what should I chase, whatever is past due. So let's take this booking right here for Noah Hollander at the David Kempinski Hotel. I click on this. I see that this was due on May 9th. I still wasn't paid for it. Obviously, you have the option, like I showed you before, to download this booking, to download this invoice and email the property yourself. Or you can click the little airplane here and send it through Sion, which allows them to respond directly to our system and be able to track that you followed up. So if there is a contact at that property or client's profile, because you could also send client invoices through here, that will auto-populate. If not, you can either add it to the profile and it'll auto-populate, or you can add a email in here. We also allow you to just click this button here and it'll automatically save it to that supplier's profile for the next time you chase a commission there. The subject and message are both configurable in your account settings. So you could go to account settings and be able to say, this is my default subject I want, or default message. We still allow you to edit it before sending. But if you have a general message that you would like to use, you could put that in there. And now it doesn't look like the settings are turned on here for responses. Give me a second. I might need to go to account settings, but let me just see if it allows it from here, but I'm assuming it wouldn't. I can still send it, but I wanted to show you how. Here, give me one moment. I believe I made it on this one. Most supplier invoices are active, yes. All right. I'm not sure why that info isn't coming up. Let's see here. Just make sure it's on the right IATA number. It could have been saved under a different default. Anyway, I'm just going to keep going here. So when I go again to send this email, it's here now. like I mentioned, they will be able to respond to this. So all I do is click send now, and you'll see how Sion is tracking when it's been sent, when it's been delivered, or if it's bounced. So it should update to delivered in a second. And I'm simultaneously going to, where did I send it from? This one? Oh, I even sent the wrong one. It's okay. You see that it's been delivered, and now I'm going to go to my email because I sent it to myself. And right when I open it, you're going to see that it updates here to an open status. So Sion allows you to see, as it's being, allows you to track the status of it. You'll also get a notification if it bounced, so you know you have the wrong email address. But what the supplier gets from you is an email that you configured with the invoice. Now, first of all, it's just much more professional, and we've noticed that it elicits much better responses. Instead of needing to type out all this information, you're telling a supplier, see attached invoice, I mean business, you owe me money, what's the status on this? But not only will I have that invoice, but they'll also be able to respond because we sort of lead them to this link in the email that allows them to view this online. And they can respond. They can say that, we don't owe you this money, or we previously paid it, it's on its way through Onyx, or we don't have a record of stay, or the guest canceled, etc. And that will send a notification to you directly. If let's say they do say it's owed, they could just confirm it, or they could even say, you're right, but Delphina checked out a day early. The gross charges in our PMS are only 2,500. It's a 10% commission. So we owe you 250 instead of 450, and they click confirm with changes here. Not only do they have the ability, if you have a payment integration set up with us, to pay that invoice, which means you get paid instantly in a day and it auto reconciles, so accounting doesn't need to worry about it. You get the updates directly to you. You'll see here there's a section called pending review. If I refresh here, you see it'll go from 5 to 6. And when you click on this, you'll see up here that there are pending actions that require your review. And you'll see, like I said, instead of how it usually goes when chasing a commission, you write out this long email with the confirmation number, dates, etc. They CC accounting. There's 5, 6, 7 emails back and forth. This was paid. Here's a receipt, etc. This comes directly through here. That this was responded to by the supplier. These are the changes. When you set this up in account settings, you can choose to not accept any of their changes until you review it, to automatically accept all of their changes, or you could pick and choose which fields you're willing to accept and which ones you want to review. In this account, we're automatically accepting date changes, but anything else we want review before updating our internal booking. Click review changes, apply, and that's all the work you needed to do to update that booking. And you're communicating with suppliers directly through here. We do have some enhancements to this coming very soon, which I'm not going to be speaking about yet, but commissions, making sure you get paid are our priority, and things are just going to be improving and getting more exciting there. That is sort of the end of what I wanted to cover today for the 101. But I am open to, digging in anywhere that people are interested or have any questions. Gail, Laura, do we not have any questions from anyone?
We don't have any that Gail and I didn't get to. So if there's, any additional questions, please feel free to put them in the Q&A and we can get to them.
Danielle asked, how can a host agency run a report for what is due to ICs? Yes, all they need to do, there's a few ways they could do that. I think statements is the easiest for them. If you have your IC set up, you're looking at your contractors and it shows you how much you owe them. But you also have the bookings page where you could, the ICs are under the agencies section. So you can just click on a particular IC see all their bookings. I mean, there's so many levels of granularity you could get to. You could say, hey, what here has been paid, what's past due. You could filter by any of the statuses there. You could also go by the commissions page as well. So there's a lot of ways that you could report on your ICs. So John asked for reporting, comparing bookings 25 versus 2024. One great way to do this is from the clients and suppliers tab, but our year-over-year reporting is still this is still in beta, so there's some kinks in there, but this is the main area where you would see year-over-year reporting. But the easiest way to do it right now would be to set the filters or parameters of what you want to see, and you can just go 25 over, 24 and be able to see those. You could also keep in mind that you could download this data in PDF or CSV. So anytime you're looking at a report on Sion, you can hit the download button and you can download a PDF, and Sion makes some really nice PDFs. You could group them. It could just be a PDF that lists everything with totals, or you could group it and rank it by agency. If you had a bunch of ICs, you want to do it by supplier name, and I want to see a report for everything that I have selected from the highest to lowest revenue grouped by supplier. So we have some cool reports that you're able to take offline. Sherry, I think as I showed before, if I'm understanding your question correctly, is we have that activity log. So if something is entered incorrectly by you, um, you know, I mean, you could review it, and in every booking, like I showed earlier, we do have a activity tab, and you could go and edit those bookings to update it if you think the data in there is wrong. I'm not sure if that answers your question. Okay, so someone wants to know about supplier totals, yearly sales. So like I said, you can do a lot of different things, a lot of the same things from different places. So if you could come to the bookings page and see, I want to search by the Four Seasons brand. So you see the one that says chain code here, and it's going to show me all of my business at the Four Seasons for this year. You could also go to the Four Seasons profile. So if I wanted to see their profile, right now I'm going to the Four Seasons Resort at Wailea, but you'll see the Four Seasons has its own profile as well. So I'm able to go to the Four Seasons chain profile and be able to see all of the bookings for this year that we have here, and be able to run reporting that way. Sherry, I'm not sure we have a connection with calendar, but we do have the right team on here to make note of it as a suggestion. You can search for a cruise. So as long as when you're entering the bookings, that you make sure to select the cruise category. We have a section on the filter bar under categories where you can just select only cruise, and you'll be able to have your cruise reporting there. John, it looks like Laura's answering you. We have some pre-recorded sessions on the advanced topics. They should be in our help center. We usually record them for our Sion users, but I could be wrong. All right, we're about to come up on time. If there's any other questions, get them in now. Otherwise, we're going to start to wrap up. But it was really great. It looks like I wasn't looking, but it looks like we had a lot of questions, which we love to see. We love to see that. Elaine, you definitely can. That is the goal here. That we make it so easy to chase that you don't push it off. So hopefully, I hope you get your money and don't just find out that there was some mistake and it wasn't owed to you. So Andrea, Sion automatically creates an invoice because for every booking, someone's owed money. So it's either you for a fee, you from a client, you from a supplier. So you don't need to do anything to create that invoice. You just create the booking, and every booking has an invoice. Okay. Laura or Gail, I see that it sounds like Camilla had a question and it sounds like a follow-up question. I'm not sure what the initial was, but happy to clarify anything if I can. Is it? Maybe I'm wrong. Um, I think we're gonna wrap this up, but it was really great. Oh, we got one last one right before the buzzer. What should I have toggled on in the status section, past due and paid? If it's really just for commission chasing, I would say past due. Paid, shouldn't be anything to chase unless you felt that something you were paid was short, was paid less than what you should have received. Sarah, for customer service, please just reach out to support@Sion Central, and we'll try to help you out, whether by email, phone, by chat, and we'll try to answer any questions you have. I want to thank everybody for coming. Thanks for asking questions. Thanks for supporting Sion. So much of the recognition we get or new business we get usually comes from our users. So we don't take it for granted. We really appreciate the support. And we try to support you as well. We pride ourselves on it. So hopefully, if you guys have additional questions, you could reach out to us, or they could get answered in a future webinar that we host. But again, thank you all for coming today, and hope to see you again soon. Thank you.